What's going on, everyone? Thank you so much for joining me today. It is Sunday and we're going to be talking about some fragrances that have been in my rotation this past week. Today we're going to be covering 7 fragrances that I think are going to be perfect for everyday wear. It is, almost fall. It's starting to get a little bit cooler, maybe just a few degrees, but it's still that really nice summer to fall transition period. And I think any of these fragrances are going to be perfect for this time of weather. So stick around, make yourself comfortable, and let's jump right in. Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for joining me. This last week, I did go out of town and I did a cool vlog video that you can check out up here. I picked up some amazing fragrances and visited this really cool fragrance hole-in-the-wall shop in Sacramento called Sharp Perfume. And if you want to check out some of the fun that we had talking about fragrances over there, you can check out the video up here. But let's just jump right into the first fragrance. I didn't wear too many this week, and I know in the past I've done a couple fragrances per day. I like to do a fragrance in the morning and the evening. I'm a creature of habit. That's just kind of how I am. But this week I just kind of kept it simple and we're covering 7 of those. So the first fragrance I wore on my road trip, this was on Monday. This is Sphinx's Coconut Daiquiri. And I gotta say, this is one of the most fun, just road trip vacation fragrances that you can buy. It's, I want to say about $100 or so when you use the discount codes that they have. It may even be cheaper, but man, does this stuff smell absolutely amazing. It's niche quality. It's from an amazing fragrance house called Sphinx, and they have some amazing, just niche, high quality fragrances. And I really haven't smelled any that I do not like. And this one, among a couple others, are my favorites. I really like the Horchata de Vanille. That one is also amazing, but I think if you want a nice summer coconutty fragrance that reminds you of a vacation, it's got almost like a martini vibe. It kind of smells like lime and coconut and some salt in there, and it just smells so fun, luxurious, and it just reminds me of a good, fun time. And so anytime that I go on a vacation, I immediately think of this fragrance, but for that road trip, I decided to go with this one, and projection is amazing on this. And I remember I sprayed a couple sprays of these in the car and I could just smell it in my car for a couple days. So this stuff is no joke. And that one is Sphinx's Coconut Daiquiri. Now for Tuesday, I went with a classic. It's a cheapie. You can get it for about $30 and it's still one of my favorite blue fragrances. This one is from Afnan, and this is Turathi Blue. Now there's a couple Turathi, there's Turathi Brown, but man, I think this one is my favorite because it reminds me a lot of Bulgari Tygar, which is that really nice citrusy, musky fragrance, and it's just a beautiful office-friendly summer daily wear. And I find myself just picking this one up and spraying it on myself when I want to smell citrusy and just don't know what to wear. So this one definitely scratches that itch of being really sweet, kind of musky, a little bit woody, but just very aquatic and just very mass pleasing. So if you really want a fragrance that's not going to offend too many people, it's going to smell very relaxing, kind of pull people in and think, who's that person who smells like that when they walked by? Because this does leave an intoxicating trail, and I've had many people ask me, at least a handful of people ask me what I'm wearing whenever I wear this one. And so that one is Afnan Turathi Blue. Now this next fragrance is from a brand that I never really bought any fragrances before, and basically when I go in the mall, I really just overlook this store, but this one is actually really slept on. This is Lush's Sakura. So if you ignore this absolutely hideous bottle, it almost looks like a car detailing spray. They call this a body spray, and it says envelop yourself in a gentle scent of flower petals and a hint of cherry citrus. But if you ignore the really weird looking bottle, you are still getting 200 ml, 6.7 fluid ounces. And honestly, if you wanted to decant this and put this in a nicer bottle, you could also do that. My goodness, does this smell fantastic. It's got a beautiful jasmine, it's musky, it's floral, but it also has a very bright and distinct lemon juice up top. So it's almost like a lemon musky window cleaner vibe in the opening, and I know that may not sound the greatest, but it just kind of reminds me of that. It's clean, it's citrusy, and it reminds me of just a spring cleaning day. So if you want to be productive, you could definitely wear this. And after about the 10-minute mark or so, it dries down and you get more of that really nice, creamy, musky, kind of floral vibe. I feel like this also shares a similarity with Soli di Positano Aqua and also the Fleur de Portofino Aqua from Tom Ford. It shares some of those nice white floral and really fresh, just cologne vibes from the Tom Ford. So that kind of Italian, zesty, nice white citrusy jasmine vibes. You can pick it up for about 45 or 50 bucks. But if you really look at the price for how many ounces you're getting, you know, it's still a pretty good buy. If you like florals and citrus fragrances, I think this is gonna be right up your alley. And that one is Lush Sakura. Now for Thursday, I went with the Lattafa Pride fragrance. I was working in the office indoors with the AC, and man, this one was perfect. This one is Lattafa Pride Vintage Radio. Now there are a lot of people out there who love this fragrance, and there are some who swear by the Lattafa Al Nashama, and I love both of those fragrances, but I decided to go with this one, and I feel like this one has a little bit more of a dark approach to that Al Nashama DNA. It's a little bit more sandalwood heavy, and I feel like it's just a slight bit darker, but you still have that really nice plum in there that smells juicy, it's mouth-watering, and it's a wonderful twist to that initio paragon DNA. And I actually did do a video up here where I compared this one and the Al Nashama. So I feel like the Al Nashama leans just a touch more citrusy and a little bit more floral, but this one just takes that original DNA and makes it smell sweeter, whereas the Al Nashama is a little bit more peppery. This is another one that my friends and family have definitely asked about. I've had a couple strangers ask me what I'm wearing with this fragrance in particular, and it's just got that really nice magical DNA to it that's sweet, it's juicy, it's fruity, while still smelling very comforting, masculine, and just very mass pleasing. And so if you can get this for about 30 or 40 bucks, you're gonna be set, and definitely consider getting Lattafa Pride Vintage Radio. Now on Friday, I decided to go with a fun fragrance. This one is new to me. It's been out for a while, but I decided to give it a try. And this one is from Al Haramain, and this one is L'Adventure. So this one is a Creed Aventus twist. And I know Curly Fragrance talks about this one a lot, and I was super happy to try it out. And I just decided, what the heck, I'm gonna try it. Now this one does share that Creed Aventus DNA. It smells a little bit more fruity than some of the other batches, and I like that there is not a ton of that incense vibe. I think some of the batches of Creed can be a little bit overwhelming, and I don't know, I like the kind of fruitier, more aquatic and musky versions, and I think this one definitely satisfies that want for that fruity pineapple, that birch, and those really nice green woody notes. But this one does project quite a lot, especially in the first 3 to 4 hours. I remember I sprayed on about probably 6 sprays of this stuff, and it was my first time wearing it, and oh man, it was so loud. I could smell it all in the car and walking around town with some of my friends, and I was thinking I probably could have done 3 or 4, but yeah, 6 sprays of this stuff is enough to fill a room, and it is a wonderful, high quality smelling fragrance that definitely smells like that fruity Aventus vibe. And it's cheap too. I want to say it's about 30 bucks or so if you want to get a tester, or 40 bucks if you want the full presentation. But yeah, this stuff is really nice. And that one is Al Haramain L'Adventure. Now for Saturday, I was kicking it back easy, kind of resting from the long week that I had, the road trip, and I just went with a nice aquatic fragrance. This one is Lattafa's Atlas. This is a 50 ml bottle. It's actually one of my favorite bottles that they had. And at first I remember I wasn't a huge fan because I was like, oh, they're doing 50 mLs. They're just, you know, doing some shrinkflation. But I actually do think that this is a nice size for this fragrance because this stuff is extremely potent. It is very long lasting, and you probably only need 2 sprays of this, 2 or 3 sprays to last you all day. And this is going to be a wonderful twist to Orto Parisi's Megamere, which is that really nice, just mouth-watering, fruity vibe with a nice marine, almost seaweed touch to it. Now this isn't going to smell like a lot of stuff out there, so if you haven't smelled that Orto Parisi Megamere DNA, I highly encourage you to sample it. Or if you have a niche perfumery nearby, definitely check it out in person because it can be a little bit polarizing Some people don't like that seaweed vibe. I personally think that this one is a really nice blend and a really nice rendition of that fragrance, because sometimes they can smell a little bit too marine-like, it can smell a little bit too funky, and sometimes the ratios of the notes can smell a little bit off-putting, but I actually do prefer this one and I love how it smells. It's very fruity, it's got that mouth-watering bergamot and some other kind of lemon citruses, but really it's a nice ambery aquatic fragrance that I think is going to be very unique. And again, not everybody's going to be smelling like this, and for 20 or 30 bucks I think it's a steal. So definitely check out Lattafa's Atlas if you get the chance. I also applied this fragrance in the evening and afternoon. I'm not really including it on this list because these are more fragrances, but this one is actually really cool. This is Hekayat Attar. I think this is the Musk. Oh man, what is it? I'm pretty sure I threw out the box, but I will put the name down here. But I did a review of this fragrance, and this is an Attar. This is a beautiful oil that you can apply to your skin. It's very musky. It's got a nice white floral touch to it. And it just smells so heavenly. And if you're looking for a more affordable alternative to the Attar Collection Musk Cashmere, I think this definitely gets very, very close to that for about $20. This is the Attar, and my God, does it smell musky. It's creamy, and it's got a nice warmth to it, and you just can't help but smell clean. It's a little bit gourmand, and every time that I put this on my wrist, I was gonna say spray, but every time that I apply this and spread it on my wrist, I immediately get put at ease. And it's surprisingly long lasting too. I wanna say this was about a 10-hour fragrance. I could still smell it well into the morning after I applied it. So that's just a nice little hidden gem to throw in there for you. And this morning I decided to go with a nice, spicy, sweet fragrance. But again, I was inside, I had the AC, so I feel like you can still pull this one off, or even in summer evenings. And this one is Haramain's Detour Eco. Now this fragrance is going to be a twist on Parfums de Marly's haltane. And I gotta say, this fragrance gets better with age. And I remember I first sprayed it and I thought, this is pretty good. It's kind of a nice woody, spicy, piney fragrance, and it has a little bit of that resinous vibe. And it kind of just smells like the Oud for Greatness Neo, and just that really interesting niche style of spicy, you know, woody fragrances. But oh man, this stuff smells even better as it kind of sat and macerated for a couple of weeks, almost about a month, I want to say. It's got that really nice vanillic spice. It smells oriental. It's kind of Middle Eastern from some of that agar wood vibes in there. And it's also got a really nice powdery touch. So it's not going to be as powdery as the Oud for Greatness Neo, but again, it does capture that haltane DNA pretty dang closely. I have a decant, and I'll probably do a comparison video between the two like I've done for the Paragon and some of the other clones. But man, this stuff just smells so high quality for the price. It's very sweet, spicy, and again, it will last you a really long time. I actually did spray this one on my arm and missed and got some of it on my shirt, and I can still smell it going pretty dang strong off the shirt almost 8 to 10 hours later. So this stuff is definitely a strong fragrance, and it is a good bargain if you want that nice spicy green herbaceous oudy vibe with a nice twist to that DNA. And that one is Haramain's Detour Eco. So there we have it, 7 fragrances plus an Attar if you're into those, that are going to really make yourself feel nice in this summer to fall transitional season. And a lot of these are great for the money. Even the Sphinx one, if that's a little bit higher on your price range, there's still a ton of options that are going to be more affordable. And if you like the Middle Eastern stuff, of course, we got lots of that. So let me know down in the comments some of your fragrances that you've been rocking, and let me know if there's any fragrances that you would like for me to try on my rotation for next week. Let me know down in the comments, and I'd love to chat with you. Thank you all so much for joining me. I hope you stay safe out there, and remember that you can do whatever you put your mind to do this week. I'm Eli with Common Sense, and until the next time, bye-bye. This straight up looks like tire cleaner. It looks like Armor All that you just spray on your tires. That is the ugliest bottle. But the juice is so good.